Oh, the press launch is over and the XSR900 is here for us to do a first ride. I might be riding my next bike today, boys. Let's get it started. Ladies and gentlemen, Chaseontwowheels here at Mountain Motorsports in Roswell, Georgia, and in front of us I have the 2022 Yamaha XSR900. Now, if you guys are fans of the channel, you know that I went to the press launch of this motorcycle, and I had a phenomenal time. Link in the description. But press launches are this entire experience that these companies build for us publication people to have a great time. I have been waiting to get this thing in the shop so I can ride this around our streets here in Atlanta to see if I still love it as much as I loved it on the press launch. And before we get to doing that, we got to see what it looks like and we got to see what it sounds like. All right, my friends, that is what the XSR looks like, and I think it's gorgeous, and that's what it sounds like. Now, before we get going, guys, we got an ad real quick because I want to show you guys beautiful camera car footage, and doing ads is the only way we can. So let's jump to an ad real quick, and I'm flicking that key.
Have you guys seen prices lately? Almost $4 a gallon, and that's for regular. My heart goes out to my fellow premium people. Regardless of which grade your mode of transportation requires, let me let you in on a little secret. Upside. Upside is an incredible app for anyone who buys gas, groceries, or dines out. With every purchase, you can earn cash back thanks to Upside. To get started, download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play. Use the promo code CHASEONTWOWHEELS, and that gets you $5 or more cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. At first, we thought, this has to be too good to be true. To my surprise, it was a super simple process. After downloading, you just choose the fuel you use most, confirm the card or cards you intend to use, then search for the deals you wish to capitalize on. Luckily for us, there are a few participating gas stations close by the shop, as well as on our way homes. Also, after a quick look at the map, Upside isn't just for gas. Oh, we're about to get some cash back on a company lunch. Okay, I'm sold after that last one, but I have to tell you one last thing. When you're ready to collect in on all of that savings, you can either A, have it sent to your bank account, or PayPal, or an Amazon e-gift card. Christmas gifts just got way easier. I might just continue to rake in the cash back, and when December hits, you get a gift card, and you get a gift card. If you too would like to join in on the savings, just download the free Upside app and use the promo code CHASEONTWOWHEELS to get $5 or more cash back. Then sit back and watch the money roll in. Thanks Upside for sponsoring this video, and back to the first ride.
All right, guys, thank you so much for sitting through the ad. Mucho apreciado. Look at that. Our quad lock matches the matches the bike. Love when that happens. All right, guys, let's get on this thing. I am so freaking excited. Kickstands up. All right, guys, so I am 5'10", got 32-inch inseam, and as you can see, only slightly bent legs, but I can flat foot this motorcycle. The seat here is very thin, which makes it so I can flat foot pretty easily. I'm going to move my phone a little bit so you guys can see the dash a little better. All right, there we go. Got a little adjustable situation so you guys can see the dash, hopefully. Alright guys, we have modes. We are going to go into traction control mode 2. We're gonna go in ride mode 4 just to start us out. All right, guys, we're gonna get this thing going. Also, guys, before we get too far into it, I want to invite you guys to come check out our Discord server. If you guys are Discord fans, we've got a motorcycle Discord server set up for all types of motorcycle people. So, if you want a place to hang out with other motorcyclists that are fans like you, make sure to check out that Discord server in the link in the description. We would love to have you. Go post a photo of your motorcycle in the Moto Photo section. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here on the 2022 Yamaha XSR900. As a lot of you guys probably know, this is Yamaha's 900cc Neo Cafe. These brand new motorcycles that look and are visually inspired by the days of old. This is a class that's basically a naked bike that's brand new with all the brand new tech that these days that motorcycles have, but they're put in an old school looking platform. And I think personally, even in this blue, I think this bike is one of the coolest bikes on the market right now. You guys know I'm a fan of that old school look. I love the Z900 RS, like that cafe one. I love this one. I think they look so cool. And I had a phenomenal time riding this thing at the press launch. So I've been waiting. I've been waiting for that email from Yamaha being like, hey Chase, we got an XSR900 at the headquarters. Do you want it? And I finally got that message. Alright guys, it's first ride time. Let's talk about the body position on the XSR900. As far as the seat goes, I will say the seat is a little hard. And it also is very thin up front and a little wider towards the back. And I've noticed while riding this thing for a longer period of time, if you sit really far up on it, you do get these little ridges of the seat that kind of dig into your butt. But if you scoot back a little bit, the seat widens up and it makes it a lot more comfortable. Now, as far as the body position, my top half, I'm slightly leaned over. I've got my arms kind of out in front of me. Damn, GT, okay. I've got my arms out in front of me. I'm slightly leaned forward. It's semi-aggressive. And then my legs are pretty comfortable. They're tucked up a little bit. I really like this body position as far as being comfortable, yet slightly leaned forward, so I'm slightly aggressive. The only thing that kind of gets me with the body position is the seat. I do wish it was maybe a little softer. I'm okay with a harder seat, but when you're in this kind of body position, you do naturally put a lot of weight on your seat, so it could get uncomfortable. I will say, if you guys are curious, comparative to the MT-09, the XSR900 seat is a little lower and the handlebars are a little higher, so you're going to be less crunched up on this than you would be on an MT-09 if you're familiar with that. While we're stuck at this red light, let's talk about modes real quick. We got a lot of them. So drive modes, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4, you are actually not going to have top horsepower. It's I call 4 the MT-07 mode. It's taking the power down from the engine. Now, if you go to drive modes 1, 2, and 3, 1, you get full engine. 2, you get full engine, but the power is tapered off. In mode 3, you get full engine, and the power is even more tapered off. That's very generally how it's going down. I'm not going to go into the specifics, but that's generally how that's laid out. And then, as far as traction control modes, we have traction control manual, we have traction control 1 and 2. I'm able to talk more understandably about this motorcycle because it's not technically a first ride since I went and did all the press launch. And I know, based on my experience, I love drive mode 2 and traction control 1, which is what I'm going to now put the bike into. It's super simple. There's a mode button here, and that mode button swaps you between traction control and drive mode. So I've got drive mode on 2, traction control on 1, as you guys can see. I'm going to have that in here for the rest of the video, except for the 40 to 80 pull. I'll put it in drive mode 1. As far as power, we can talk about power real quick. We can talk about power numbers. As far as we get in my lane, we're not. Okay, cool. So as far as power numbers go, if you guys aren't familiar, this bike is powered by the CP3, the same engine that is in the MT-09. And there's slight modifications to this motorcycle compared to the MT-09, but that engine is putting out, I believe, 115 horsepower and 64-ish foot-pounds of torque, which is plenty to get yourself in trouble. Did I mention it has a quick shifter up and down? Oh man, this bike is so good. And it also, get ready for it, comes in at an MSRP of $10,000. Why? I don't know. I don't know what Yamaha's doing, but they put this bike out for 10 grand, and I think we should just not tell them that they priced it incorrectly and just appreciate it as a market. Sitting here at this red light, the weight is held really well. I think the weight's coming in at 462 pounds, something around that. Like, and that's wet, ready to ride. The weight feels great. Like, is it super light? No, standing still. But compared to how big the bike is, how powerful the bike is, I don't think the weight is heavy. Very happy with the weight. And obviously, like a lot of motorcycles, the second you get going, especially with these wide handlebars, you have so much control over this motorcycle. So 462 pounds turns into nothing real quick the second you start going. Another thing I'm noticing here while I'm riding this bike around is when I lift up my legs a little bit, the tank has a really good scoop out that my legs can hold on to. I feel like I am held into this motorcycle right now, which is really nice. That's how you should be holding yourself onto the motorcycle. So it's nice that you know, I'm, like I said, 5'10", 32-inch inseam, and I'm able to like kind of grip the bike with my legs like that. Oh, that truck's door is not locked. Yeah, I'm not gonna be behind you, bud. What's going on up here? Well, I guess being stuck in traffic helps me get a feel for the balance of the bike. There's just so much traffic here, man. Goodness gracious. We're gonna jump ahead of all this traffic before we continue this video, guys. Well, I can confirm that the bike sitting in blistering sun does not get hot. Is that a positive for me sitting in all this traffic? We're almost there, guys. We're almost out of all this. Holy smokes. It looks like that dude's welding with sparklers. I'm gonna continue to believe that, because that would be a hilarious story. Oh, the open road, my friends. We're here. We made it. We got through the traffic. Thank you for sitting through it, even though it was only seconds for you and minutes for me. Pick a fucking lane. All right, power wheelies in mode 2. Confirmed. It's finally through it. My God, got some air going, and boy, we are off. And we're going to get the green light. Hell yes. Oh, wait, we got a quick shifter. Use it, Chase. Use it to your most advantage. I love this motorcycle so fucking much. Sorry, shouldn't have cussed. We're not cussing. This bike is so good. I love the way it feels. I love the way it feels when you're pushing it, because you got wide handlebars and you got control. I love it when you're like just chilling around in traffic, because again, you have wide handlebars and you have a hilariously awesome power delivery. I don't know, man. There's something about a triple that I really love, and Yamaha's doing it right with the CP3, no doubt. Bike gets a little vibrating when you're really sending it up through the revs as well. Granted, you shouldn't be doing that on city streets, but if you find yourself doing that, just be ready. That quick shifter's got a good hit too. You know that you are shifting, and it does smooth out the harder you're pushing it. So guys, we're coming up to the highway with the XSR900, and as you guys can see from the front of the motorcycle, my phone is providing more wind resistance than the bike is. So I think the wind's gonna be pretty rough on the highway. I know the engine's gonna be fine, but I don't remember what the wind resistance was like when I was at the press launch. So we're gonna see what it feels like. For safety, I'm gonna keep traction control in mode 1, which will give me lift mitigation and all that kind of stuff. But I am gonna put the drive mode into mode 1, so I get the least encumbered power delivery as possible. That's all the beans. I guess technically all the beans would be putting in traction control in manual and basically turning off the lift mitigation. But we're not going to do that, because this is not my motorcycle and I'm not that comfortable with it yet. I will say, as far as changing the modes, you know, as you guys have watched, we've changed the modes a few times while on this ride. Very easy. Yamaha's got a really good setup as far as the buttons, and we'll talk about those more here in a little while. Does look like we got a decent bit of traffic though. During the press launch, I never rode it in mode 1. Oh, I never get it green like that. We're about to have a good freaking time. All right, hold on. Let me make sure I'm in front of this car. and then I'll do a 40 to 80. Oh, this is about to be fucking great. All right, you guys ready for it? Let's just go. That's 80, and that's because I rev limited it. Quick shifter does not like shifting when you're up at the rev limiter. Just things to know. That was fast as shit. That would have been way faster if I would have, if the quick shifter would have engaged. I guess the quick shifter doesn't work if you're at the rev limiter. So now we know that. Alrighty guys, here on the highway with the XSR900. Sorry about that. That was, for audio purposes, that was a 40 to 80 pull of a 2022 Yamaha XSR900. All right, guys, so we're here on the highway going, what is it, 75 and 5th. Let's go up to 6th. Engine is purring at 5,000 RPMs. It is not even sweating. With my body position being leaned forward, the wind is actually not as bad as I thought. Now, if we're talking wind, you know, like right here with my hand, that's where I start feeling wind. It's all on my chest, but I'm leaning into it, so it doesn't seem as bad. Now, as far as maneuverability here on the highway, super stable, not going anywhere. It's holding its line really well. And you guys know this is a notoriously windy highway. Going back and forth in the lane, I still maintain tons of maneuverability. I love having wide handlebars on a motorcycle. I feel like I'm in so much control. Plenty of power. We're going way too fast here on the highway, but plenty of power. You're not going to have a problem. And I wonder if Yamaha plans on making some sort of windscreen for this, because right now, if you took away some of the wind, I wouldn't be mad about it, but this bike would do so well on touring. By the way, on the MT-09, the base model MT-09 does not come with cruise control, but if you get with the SP does have cruise control. You know what also has cruise control? This guy. Push that in once, push set down, $10,000 and you have cruise control. Thank you, Yamaha. We love you long time. Thank you so much for doing that. You know how your boy needs cruise control. There's that vibration in the feet a little bit. Looks like the vibration in the feet starts at around 7,500 RPM. Let's get across these lanes. This bike feels so aggressive. It feels so happy riding it hard. It's hilarious because it doesn't look like it would, and I love it so freaking much. All right, guys, honestly, phenomenal showing for the XSR900. I thought the wind would be way worse than it was. So I'm gonna get downshifted here a little bit, and we're gonna hit this turn and inevitably catch up to those cars. Let's see where that extended swing arm gets us. Man, if you've ridden an MT-09 and you know how it kind of bounces around a little bit in a lane, bro, look at this. This thing ain't going nowhere. I might as well be riding on Elmer's glue. Oh my goodness, and that's what I remember from that press launch. I did not expect an extended swing arm to do that much to this motorcycle, and if it did, I was worried that it was going to mess up the kind of flickiness that the bike has. Not the case at all. This bike feels phenomenal thrown over. But guys, before I continue, let's jump to the camera car and see what the guys and lady in the camera car think about the XSR900. If they don't like it, I'm offended. Let's do it. Thanks to our buddies over at Cardo.
I dig it. The only thing I don't really like is the fact that the wheels are a different color than the fork. And I know that's small, but it bugs the living crap out of me. But it's a good looking bike. What do you think about it? Not Trey.
Not Trey. I like the headlight. It's cool, and it gives it like a little vintage vibe. And I like the blue. I agree about the wheels though.
Yeah, it's a little bothersome.
All right, guys, that's the camera car, folks. Thank you so much, guys and lady, for your opinions. My lovely wife making a little guest star appearance. And thank you so much for Cardo for sponsoring the First Ride Series. If you guys want to get what we think is the best Bluetooth unit on the market, we'll have a discount link for you for Cardo's in the description. Let's talk about power delivery real quick. This thing is really peaking out power at like 5,500 RPMs up to around 7,500. And inside of that range, it is a freaking rocket ship. You have so much power. You have such a good noise. I love the power delivery on this bike. I would not change anything about it. As far as gearing goes, like I said, we've got an up and down quick shifter, which work phenomenally. there is a pretty substantial feel, like a punch when you're shifting, and it smooths out the faster and harder you're going. I will say there's a little weirdness when I accidentally hit the rev limiter and then tried to use the quick shifter. Didn't seem to want a quick shift. That could have been user error, so keep that in mind. As far as transmission feel, like how big the gears are, I kind of wish, based on the 40 to 80 pull, not that you're going to be doing 40 to 80 pulls all over the place, I do wish I had a slightly taller second gear. Now, I'm sure Yamaha has way smarter people working for them than me, so I'm sure there's a reason the gears are geared like they are, but, you know, for us idiots out here, it would be nice to have a little taller second gear so I can just wring the neck of this thing. Now, as far as brakes, we got dual disc brakes up front and a single disc in the rear. The times I have touched on the brakes have felt great. I told you guys in other videos, my MT10, my 2019 MT10, I'm not a ton happy with the brakes, but I can happily say I do not have that issue with this motorcycle. I get really good brake feel. It's very soft and into a really hard braking. Makes it very easy to control. Haven't had any problems with braking power at all. And we'll get slammed on the brakes up here if I can get away from traffic, just to get a really good feel. And of course, we have ABS in the front and rear on this bike. A fun story, if you're in the controls, that's what BC stands for, braking control. That's ABS control. All right, guys, let's test the brakes out and see how they feel. Front only. Woo-hoo-hoo! Boy, I don't think anybody's gonna have a bad time with those brakes. Yamaha's pretty good about their brakes. They don't have to be Brembos to be good. Let's talk about the controls here on the XSR900. Very Yamaha. If you're familiar with Yamaha controls, you will be familiar with this. They've got the new menu scroll wheel thing, which you guys have seen me said in other videos. I'm not the biggest fan of it. The reason I'm not the biggest fan of this is because sometimes when I press it, it scrolls up, which sometimes will make you miss what you're pressing and you'll press something incorrectly. I'm not a huge fan of it. I do love how little space it takes up, and I love the usability of it. I just wish it was more accurate. Maybe if it didn't scroll so easily, that'd be an easy way to fix that. Over here on the left, very Yamaha controls. They have these controls on a lot of their models. I think it's identical, if not almost identical, to the MT09 SP. Cruise control setup, very minimal, very easy. Mode and mode changing, super simple. As far as the levers go, we have adjustable levers on both sides. They are blacked out. We love the look. Grips feel very like regular motorcycle grips. I got no problem. I love the thickness of them. They're a little thinner. Feels great. Handlebars are at a really good position, as you guys have heard me talk about. I love the body position on this bike. As far as the screen, we are dealing with the exact same screen out of the MT09. Which is a totally fine screen. I think it holds a lot of information. So maybe the first couple times you ride it, it's going to take a little time to know where everything is. But I do love the customizability of it. The Tracer 900, the Tracer 9 GT has a similar screen as well. You can customize what all the little things are, which is great. It's easy to see how fast I'm going, my speed. And I love that integrated with the screen is a quick shifter icon, and it turns green when you can shift up, and it turns green when you can shift down, which kind of like lets the rider know it's like, hey, if you want to shift up with a quick shifter, it's available. I think that's really neat. The first thing I saw that on was the MT09, and really loved that. Controls are pretty thin, love that, got no problems there. What's the rear brake feel like? I got ABS activating over there. Rear brake's actually way stronger than I would expect it to be. Just shifted into neutral. Have had no problems with transmission and getting into neutral. You know, Yamaha transmissions are pretty rock solid. I absolutely love them for that. You have no worries. You know, as obviously we get a neutral indicator here on the right and here on the screen as well, in case, you know, one's being blocked by your phone. You got two indicators there. What else, man? Oh, of course, we got these mirrors on the end that are stock and work phenomenally. You can maneuver these things all you want. I remember those on the launch, and I loved them so much. I love that that comes on a stock motorcycle. This bike gives me vibes of like, if I had this bike, I don't know if I would do anything to it, like truly. I might put some luggage, like a tank bag on it. I can't think of anything else I'd want to do to this bike. I love the way it looks, and we're gonna look at it here in a second, but This bike is just one of those one and dones, dude, and it's 10 grand. Again, don't know how, but whatever. But guys, we're going to pull off up here and go to our little parking lot where we can do a little walk around of the motorcycle. Now, obviously, you guys have been looking at the camera car footage, but I haven't. And I personally freaking love the way this bike looks. I wouldn't be considering it for my next bike if I didn't love the way it looks. So we're going to pull it off and do a little walk around of this thing. Well, I know we're going to test it here in a minute, but the steering stem lock is not that far. We'll see what it looks like in our little test here in a minute. Alrighty guys, 2022 Yamaha XSR900. I know the looks are going to be a little subjective. If you guys aren't fans of that kind of neo-cafe old look, probably not going to like the look of this bike. I personally am a fan of it, and I've never really been a blue guy, and I hope that it comes through in the GoPro or the camera car footage, but this blue, with this and the yellow accents, it looks so good. I don't know if I've seen a better color blue on a motorcycle before. So it kind of makes sense. Yamaha's colors are blue. They have nailed the blue on this bike. Here you can see the extended swing arm, which adds so much stability to this thing. And you guys, if you haven't seen the press launch, look at the passenger peg. Tucks up in there, you never see it. I think the only thing I would do with this motorcycle is get a tail tidy for the license plate to go up here. And I would love it if there was an integrated rear tail light. Seat's a little funky. I've seen some comments. Some of you guys aren't too big fans of the seat. I don't have a problem with it. I think it fits the boxy flow of the bike. And I know the exhaust has that giant box at the bottom, but I'm fine with that box if you're telling me I don't have anything under the tail and it keeps it super clean. I do kind of wish that our covers here were either the same color or just blacked out. I don't really love that there's two colors there, but I can look past stuff like that. And love the front headlight. This is a motorcycle where if I bought this bike, I would be inspired to go out and take photos of it. And that's one of the things, as a person that likes taking photos, that's a really big deal for me. We got Yamaha's normal terrible blinkers. I love the way they look and they function well, but this housing breaks so easy. Not breaks, but just pops off. I guarantee you, while we have this thing on loan at the shop, this blinker or that blinker will pop out and we'll have to fix it at some point in time. I will almost promise you that. Like I told you guys, adjustable suspension up front. It is a manual adjustment. There's no electronics. And then we have the adjustable rear, which is accessed right here. So cool stuff. Love the bike. Love the bronze. It goes really well with the blue. Overall, I'm super here for it, man. But guys, speaking of the way it looks, I'm going to grab my phone off of the quad lock. Shout out to quad lock. And take some photos for Instagram. If you guys aren't following us on Instagram, we're at C2WPics. Make sure to follow us on Instagram. We're posting photos of the bikes. We're doing camera car shots. We're doing all kinds of stuff. We're also on TikTok at Chaseontwowheels. So if you guys are into the phone content, I mean, you might be watching this on your phone, in which case, go follow us over on Instagram and TikTok. I'm going to take some photos to post on Instagram real quick, guys, and I'll be right back. All right, dudes, that's it for the photos for old Instagram. I guess we should turn the bike on first. All right, guys, let's try the handlebar lock test. I don't know how well it's going to do. It might not do great. Oh, not good at all. One of the worst ones for the handlebar lock. Oh, XSR, you can't be good at everything. I will note that riding the bike around parking lots, I've had no maneuverability issues, so don't take the handlebar lock test as like a tried and true, it's not maneuverable. I had no problems going around the parking lot, so I don't think you guys are either. All right, guys, let's talk about who I feel like this bike is for. Another thing I meant to mention earlier as far as the screen goes that I just thought about, as you guys can see, the gas gauge, which we have one, and that's great, but it uses that 5-bar system. While it gives me a general idea, I would really love to have a range, like an actual number. So Yamaha in future bikes, just know that I would prioritize a range number over a bar system. Now I'm happy to have a gas gauge, but you know, for future reference, a range number would be phenomenal. So who is the XSR900 for, the old 2022 model? So the thing's coming in at a phenomenal price point of 10 grand. You get the cruise control that you don't get in the MT-09. You still get the 6-axis IMU, you get the ride modes, you get the customizability. It comes in at just a phenomenal price point for all that stuff. Honestly, I'm an MT-10 rider, and I've had my MT-10, my 2019, for about 2 or 3 years now. I absolutely love that bike, but I am legitimately considering switching to the XSR900. Now, why am I considering that? One, I really like the lightweight agility of this bike. I feel like this is a better balanced package than the MT-10. I think the MT-10 is just way too much power. Like, this is too much power, but this is an understandable amount of too much power, whereas the MT-10 is just hilariously dumb. The MT-10 does a pretty good job of being really maneuverable because of the really short wheelbase, but I just don't think I need that big of an engine on the daily. And like I said, bikes are all about balance, and the more I ride, the more I realize that, like, bikes being good or bad has little to do with the engine. It's all about, does the bike feel balanced as a whole package? And the MT-10 is a phenomenal motorcycle. I'm just not able to utilize that as much as I would want to. And having spent some time in California riding this thing around my daily, I know, I can tell that, like, this would be such an easier bike to ride day in, day out. I've got all the power modes, and then the MT-10 has power modes too, but I'm in such a lighter weight motorcycle. It's a little easier to flick back and forth, feels incredibly stable in a turn, and I prefer this as an overall packaged motorcycle. My main negative with this bike is the seat's a little hard. Like, that's the only thing I would want to change. And if I was going to end up buying this motorcycle, I would probably see if I could get a different seat. I'm not joking. I don't know what else I would do with it. Like, truly, I love everything about this thing. So, will it be my next bike? You guys are going to have to subscribe and stay tuned to find out if I end up selling my 2019 MT-10 for a 2022 XSR900. We'll update you guys in a video. But guys, that brings us to the end of the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned something. I appreciate you guys riding around with me today. And shout out to Yamaha for loaning us this bike. We will have it for the next month or so. Gonna be making a ton of content on it. As always, if you guys want to see any specific videos, let us know, and we will do our best to make those videos for you. And guys, I'm Chaseontwowheels. You guys go ride safe. We'll see you on the next one. Later. Outro crew, thank you so much for getting it in the video. Make sure to put OC in your comments so we know you're in the outro crew. And outro crew, let me know, should I sell my MT-10 and get this? You know, because I need the 6-axis IMU and the lighter weight and the retro vibes. So let me know if I should in the comments down below. You guys know we love you a little bit longer, and we'll see you on the next one. Later.